Wait, everything okay? I think that the lighting is okay. Alright, it's focused. Move it down. Good. Any lighting? Any shutter field? Alright, the shutter speed is good. It's so fucking embarrassing. Yep. What's going on, everyone? It's me, I'm the TKC here. Welcome back to another tutorial. So in this video today, I'm going to be going to showing you guys how did I create this 3D scene using After Effects and blenders. So this is the first time ever I'm trying to, like showing up my webcam. This is not my fully set up. I'm just like placing some random thing here. I wanted to have my old monitor here, so I'm just gonna like, hey, today we're gonna be going to create something like this. But I mean, I don't have any time to really setting up everything right now. I'm just using, normal cameras and everything. But anyway, so in this video today, I'm gonna be going to showing you guys how to make a 3D environment inside a blender, import that into After Effects to do some sort of compositing. So for this tutorial, you guys need 2 add-on as well as 1 blender template. This is not really necessary, but everything gonna be going to be in the description as well. And also, it's been a long time I'm not making any tutorials, so I need some suggestion in the comment as well as some edit to remix. I kind of wanted to remake some big editor edits right now to make the tutorials about it, but it's been a long time I'm not watching any edit, any AMV, so that's why I have no idea right now. So just give me some suggestion down below as well. So this is the first time ever I'm trying to show my face. I wanted to leveling up my confidence level with us a little bit so that in the future I will make more IRL content as well. So yeah, this video is about it. Now let's get right into the tutorial. Whoa. Well, wanted to see something like this. This fucking cringe thing, bro. It's out of focus, bro. Fuck. First, we're gonna be going to drop down the raw clip into the composition and remove the object from the backgrounds. Here I use the Rotobrush 3.0 from Adobe After Effects 2024 because this have a much larger, better resource and also a much faster speed of renderings. So once you're done with that, we're gonna be going to freeze the frames, and then we just only need to wait for like 3 to 4 minutes for over 200 frames of renderings. Also, you guys can check down some of my Rotobrush tutorial link in the description as well. I make a lot of detailed tutorial related to this compositing content as well. So once you're done with your Rotobrush, what we're gonna be going to do is to change some of the values of the feather, the contrast, and you can add some key cleaner into your object as well. Seeing this object is very small, I don't really think that I should use this one, but I'm just wanted to showing you guys what really this effect does. And once you're done with this, you are gonna click on Ctrl M to go to the render queue, render this one as a PNG sequence, set the channel to RGB plus alpha, or you can use QuickTime as well to render that as a clips. So now your job is gonna be going to import this one into blenders. So for the 3D environment part, I will leave a Blender file in the description. That is a template that I mostly use when I try to create a 3D environments because it's have a real life scale human model inside that. So all you need to do is to import the reference image into that, change the position of the camera until the 3D human model match the character of the reference image, so that later on you could replace this 3D human model with the Rotobrush sequence that we just done with it. So once you've done that, we're gonna be going to create a blend, and I'm gonna be going to working on the grass field by using an add-on called Scatter 5, which you guys can find on my Discord server. So all you need to do right now is to apply the biome of Scatter 5 into the plane. We're gonna be going to change the distribution value as well as the scale value until it's match your lead. And by the end of this one, most of you guys are gonna go into think that I'm gonna be going to use sculpt mode, but I'm just gonna try to do that very quickly using the proportional editing inside of the edit modes. So here, what I'm going to be going to do right now, firstly, is to import a biome that you guys wanted to add into the scene. I'm going to be going to choose a grass 5 because it's have a very nice color mood. And now what I'm going to be going to do is turn the scale for the objects of the flower, the grass, and the daisies back to 0.1. And we're going to be going to increase the distribution value as well. So here I'm going to be going to customize the biome to make it less flower and more grass, because later on the CC will make the grass look a little bit darker and the flower is basically a little bit brighter to create some sort of contrast and like some sort of color dynamic range in the scene. So yeah, here is my setting. You guys can copy it as well, and also don't forget that the free project file will be in the description. So now I'm going to be going to change the render engine to Eevee because it's much faster and also the result is looking incredible, and I just found out about this one as well. So once you change that to Eevee, what you're gonna be going to do right now is we're gonna be going to turn on the add-on, the import image as plane, to replace the Rotobrush sequence with the human model. So I will import the sequence. We're gonna be going to turning on animate image sequence, and we're gonna use the image material type so that later on we could change the brightness, the contrast, as well as the color of the Rotobrush sequence. So once I done aligning the Rotobrush sequence with the human model, I'm gonna be going to delete the human base model, and we're gonna be going to jump right into modifying the plane. You guys can like work around with the brightness of the sequence by changing the emission strength, but we will do that later. So now I'm gonna be going to subdivide this plane by 45 times, turning on proportional editing by hitting O on the keyboard. Also I can click the icon right up there, hit G on the keyboard, hit Z's on the keyboard to basically moving up and down the terrains. So I'm just gonna going to speed up this part. I'm trying to copy it to make it look like the one in the reference. You don't really necessarily need to do something like this. Since later on the grass, the lighting will do its job. The terrain dialogues contribute way too much on the beauty of this environment. So now I'm going to be going to apply a simple forest floor texture into the plane so that it could fill up some of the parts where the grass does not appear in it. So I'm going to be going to use Quixel Breeze, which is incredible source of texture, link in the description as well. So now I'm going to be going to download the white grass texture, import that into Blenders, and we're going to be going to go to edit mode to select all of the vertices and scale the texture up. So hit A on the keyboard, go to the UV editors, hit A once again to select every texture, and hit S to scale it up until it's look more realistic. And now back to the shader editor. You guys can change the color by adding some curve into that, but here is not really necessary. So now it's time to remove the reference image, and we're gonna be going to work on the lighting. But also one more note here, in this part I also try to modify the ground, which is not really necessary because later on you could do that inside of artifact. So I'm just simply scaling everything up. It's also caused a lot of lag as well, so I'm not really recommend you guys to do something like this. I can watch some of my old tutorial on the way that I create my own terrain. I think it's more like performance friendly than this sort of method as well. So now back to the Scalify add-on, we're gonna be going to turn on the wind wave and the wind turbulence. We apply that into all of the object in the scene, and we basically done with the grass animation. Since I'm using if renders, I can probably like preview the animation pretty quickly. So here I'm trying with different values, and I think that the value that I saw on the screen right now is definitely one of the best ones that fit this environment. But if you create a smaller environment, you definitely need to tweaking the value just a little bit more. And once you're happy with this sort of value, we're gonna be going to copy the same thing to two of the other system as well. Alright, now it's time for creating the lighting. So I'm going to be going to use an add-on called Physical Atmosphere, which will be on my Discord server as well. We just need to tweak the lighting, tweak some of the color inside their Rotobrush sequence. You guys can do this one inside of artifacts by rendering the environment. We put that inside of artifacts and following one of my compositing tutorial, which I will leave in the description as well. And once you're happy with the resource, I'm going to be going to quickly skip into the part where I'm going to be going to create the camera animation. Alright, so we are back. Also adding a little gate in the background for more detail. So here is my physical atmosphere setting. If you guys wanted to copy it, it's look really nice. It doesn't have way too much contrast at this moment, but we can do this by post-progressing inside of After Effects. So now I'm gonna be going to choose the camera, create a keyframe, and then we just simply do that the same way as we do inside of After Effects. So we move the keyframe, we're placing some key first, and then we will do the grab later on, which you guys can, follow my step right now. And make sure to click on the little icon right next to the value until it turns into yellow, so that their value going to be applied. Also, you guys can keyframe the depth of field value to create some blurry effects, as well as turning on motion blur layers for a better camera animation. I will leave some related add-on to make the shake as well. Here I'm not gonna be going to add the shake because I might use the edge shake effect inside of After Effects, but I kind of recommend you guys to use it right inside of Blenders because it's gonna be a lot better, right? So go to the graph editor and it's look the same like the value editor inside of After Effects. So all you need to do right now is just need to change two of these handle until it's look good enough. I'm just gonna be going to try to match up all of them together and just make them looking smooth. Here I do some sort of mistake here, but I quickly realized about that. So I just need to reverse that one, which is not that complicated. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask me on my Discord server. I rarely make this shorter 3D tutorial. That's why I'm kind of scared when I'm trying to explain something a little bit complicated than normally. So here's a graph that I used. It looked a little bit stiff at the end, but it's still looking very nice. So you guys can copy this one, by the way. So now instead of using simple backgrounds or some VDBs for the cloud, I'm gonna be going to import a sky clips that I use on my latest edit into it. We only need to change the X position as well as change some sort of color. We're gonna be going to do the color matching later on inside of After Effects, so there's no worry about this one. So all you gotta do right now is import that as a plane. We scale it up, move it far away, changing the X rotation of it, and we're basically done with it. But now I wanted to make it a little bit more advanced by adding the original clip inside of After Effects. We're gonna be going to create a new composition, and I basically wanted to do some velocity with the sky, the cloud moving speed, as well as adding some color into it. So here it is inside of After Effects. First of all, you need to set the frame to be the same as your animation's duration. And now once you import that into After Effects, what you're gonna be going to do is to mask the resolution of the original clips as well as the duration of your animation inside of Blender. We're gonna be going to use time relapse as a way to make the velocities of the cloud, but you guys can use Twixtor in case the clip is 930 fps. We need some interpolation, but I'm just gonna be going to use the default one inside of After Effects by clicking on that button. And now we do the same thing. We render this one out and we replace that with the sky inside of Blenders. So for the rest of the progress, I'm just simply adding some curve into the sky as well as the Rotobrush sequence as well to try to match the color between the sky and the grass field. You don't really need to make it exactly match each other. It's just simply, having the same dynamic color range so that later on you can make it have a much lower contrast and apply some color into that. It's pretty hard to explain. I'm going to be going to try my best to learn about this one as well so that I could make a much detailed tutorial in the future. So before we render this one out, I'm going to be going to turn on motion blur to make it look better and blend each other. So here's my setting. You guys can do some other setting by yourself. You can test it out whatever you want, and that's pretty awesome about it. So before we render this one out, I will use the no contrast feature to make the color profile flat, and then I'm gonna be going to combine this one with render layers to render the ground and the sky separately, so that you could add some sort of extra detail in the middle of them later on. So that's really what's about it. Now let's jump right into After Effects. So inside of After Effects, first we're gonna be going to drag the sky and the scene down into your composition. I'm gonna be going to trim the animation back down to 80 frame because it's kinda unnecessary to leave it 9 or 100s. And we're gonna be going to work on color corrects the sky, the scene, and adding a CC later on. Seeing I forgot, to turning on my mic or recording those things, I'm gonna be going a little bit slower in this part. So I'm gonna be going to add some lumetri color into the sky layers to make the blue value a little bit down, so that it's not gonna be way too saturated when the color profile is completely flat like this. I'm gonna be going to add some mojo and optical diffusion in order to make it look more crispier. You guys can go completely free in this part. You guys can do whatever you want in order to make the sky look better, because you might use different sky assets. And next in the scene, I will use a red, green, and blue channel to basically match the lightness of each of these channels with the sky layers to make a very flat levels. It's not that necessary to change the blue, by the way, because I don't know why. It's kind of depends. This sort of color range, I just learned about this about a few weeks ago. That's why I am not really confident on explaining it. I'm gonna be going to add the lumetri color, because the red value in the background is a little bit way too much. So I'm just gonna use the hue versus sat, and we pick the color that you wanted to desaturate. We drag down the value, and also you guys can use some more points. You guys can create more points to make it having a smoother color variation. And one is all no saturate. What you're gonna be going to do right now is to add some BCC low contrast into the footage to make the color profile as flat as possible. And here I'm just gonna be going to set the light brightness back to 15, because this one is a little bit way too flat compared to the sky in the background. So here I'm gonna be going to set the light brightness back to 50. So once you're done with desaturate the footage, you're gonna be going to add some optical flare into it. I'm gonna be going to choose a preset we call vertical light, but I'm gonna be going to change the light from 90 degrees back to 0 degrees. So you guys can follow what I did on the screen right now. We just simply change the rotation back to 0. We make it 3D and make the foreground layer to the scene one. So just click on layer 1, click on the scene, click on transparent on the render mode, and we basically move it down over there. And also change the blending mode to add for more realism. So here what I did here is create some keyframe on the position X and Y to make it look more natural, and it's not nice being bright the whole time. So once you're done with it, what we're gonna be going to do now is add some flicker, and we're basically done with the optical flare. Now it's time for one of the toughest part, which is the CC. So before we add the CC, I will make the the footage a little bit sharper by using some sharpen and unsharp marks. You guys can use denoise, edge sharpen, whatever sharpening effect that you guys usually use on the AMV. Still gonna be going to work fine with this one. We just wanted to make the grass a little bit sharper, and I'm gonna be going to add the maggot bullet look on the top CC layers. So once you add maggot bullet look into that, we're gonna be going to jump right into color correct this footage. So before we get right into doing the color correction, you guys can follow some of my other tutorial that I will list right now in the description, teaching you guys about CC, because this one is kinda freestyle. I'm just testing out some random effects, but I mostly use some Mojo too as fundamental effects for this one, and the rest I'm just using some edge sharpness for, you know, the depth of field, a better depth of field, some grand expo and spot expo. So I use spot expo to make the sun look a little bit brighter, and grand expo it basically create more contrast on the scene. So for the grand expo, I'm gonna be going to make it around -5, because you know, like later on I will change the value, by the way. So I'm gonna make some grand expo right out there, and we just tweaking out the value until you like it. Color correcting is a very sensitive thing, you know. It's pretty hard for you to copy my entire settings, so that you guys can, you know, check down my editing back in the description as well, which I list around 100cc inside that path, so you guys can, you know, go free with that. You don't really need to copy my setting, by the way. So here on this setting, I'm gonna be going to use Mojo, some land destruction, some land vignettes, and basically just go with a very basic color correction that not even look the same as the one that I use at the intro. So since we have desaturated the footage a little bit too much, I'm gonna be going to use some curve, changing the red, green, and blue channel to make it look, you know, more pleasing to your eyes. That's the only way that I could describe. I'm learning a lot of different things about VFX right now, so I'm definitely gonna make more tutorial in the future if you guys want to. So once you're done with working with, you know, like make the contrast, you know, make the scene more contrast again, I want to add some look, and finally flattening out the glow, you know, the black and white points, by adding just some optical diffusion into it. And well, at this part we basically done with the entire things. We just need to messing out with, you know, some sort of the other effects. So as I said above, it's completely free for you to try out new thing. So here I'm just gonna be going to use some optical diffusion. And finally, for more realism, since the beginning of the sky sequence, the sky is not that bright, I'm gonna be going to give it a curve effect into the scene, and we can keyframe the curve as well. So I don't really think that people really knows about this one. I have seen a lot of people, you know, don't really knows about this, but you can keyframe the curve as well. So I'm just gonna be going to make a keyframe at the beginning, move it to the end of the sequence, and on the beginning we make it a not darker, since the sky is also dark as well. And we just need to change some graph into that to make it moving fast in the beginning and slower in the end. Well, I'm genuinely very fucking tired right now. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So that's all. It's been a long time I'm not making a tutorial. That's why I'm kind of sad today. But wow, finally done it. 5 hours of working, bro.